Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you. It always is. I hope you're all doing well. We have reached the round of 16 over in Greece and in France. As always, we'll be touching on each and every one of these matches that we've got for today. Be sure to get your comments in with your predictions. Anything that I'll be going for today will be in the pinned comments. You're more than welcome to take a look at that. And you take it if you want. You leave it if you must. It's entirely up to you. The choice will always be yours. But like the video, if you'd be so kind, get yourself subscribed to the channel. If you're not already, hype the video as well. It's kind of a new thing. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but I imagine it would be a massive help. So get yourself involved. It would be an honour to welcome you to the team. Do a quick recap. Time for the recap. How did we get on in yesterday? Did we win? Did we lose? Did we just come close? Most importantly, did we enjoy the tennis? I'll go first. I was well and truly redeemed today by Nuno Borges. I had him to beat Elliot Spezzeri. Kind of a dicey first set, but then I feel like it kind of took Nuno Borges to drop that first set in order to get a grip of that one, and he took full control. Happy days. I will certainly be taking that. But we'll see if we can carry on, try and continue that into the round of 16. But let me know, share with the group. That was just me. Tell everyone how you got on, and we'll waste no more time with it. We'll get right into business, folks. Let's get it over. In France is Tien, and is it Moez Echargui? Is that how we say it? Is that what we're calling them? I do apologise if I've got that one wrong, but it would have to be the American. This will probably be one of the quicker ones that we've got for today. It would have to be Tien. There's just levels to this game, and I believe Tien has been operating at a much higher level than this guy for quite some time now. Look, this is a lucky loser. On top of that, he received a bye. Very lucky indeed. But I'm afraid, sir, that your luck has most certainly run out when you play Tien today. I don't know what he would have to do in order to beat him, I suppose, as far as a bet goes. The question is, do you think he can keep it within that spread range, or do you think it's going to be an absolute slap spot for the American? I'm looking at the odds in this. 1.08 for Tien. Yannick Sinner prices. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know how you're going to go about taking him today, but I would have to assume Tien gets that one done, folks. Absolutely. And then we've got Hugo Gaston, Daniel Altmaier. Probably the most, or one of the more interesting matches that we've got in store for us today, if you'd ask me. Head-to-head 1-0 to Gaston last year. Kitzbühel on the clay. Very close game. Makes sense. I always would have chalked these up for having a close match when it comes to clay tennis. 6-4, then a tie-break to Altmaier, and then 6-4 again. That's how that one went. Could we be in for more of the same on the indoor hard court? Possibly. Very possibly. You could call it split down the middle. Roundabout, we are getting Hugo Gaston as the slightest of favourites. Depending where you look, call it 1.8, 1.85. Now, Daniel Altmaier, I mean, he continues to impress. He was very good last week in the Paris Masters. We'll give him that. Marcus Giron, I ain't going to kiss your ass for that one. Casper Ruud, fantastic win. Put in a very decent shift against Felix Auger-Aliassime until it all come crumbling down in the third. But he done a lot more than what I thought he was going to do. Now, staying over in France, we come over to Metz, and I'm not that surprised. He's continuing with the form. Took out Rindenech, home favourite. Decent performance. Looked rather comfortable. Looked very comfortable indeed in doing that one. And look, I don't know about you, but I'm watching Daniel Altmaier kind of like start to overpower the likes of Rindenech from the baseline on the hard court, and maybe that's just testament to the improvements, or the kind of improvements that this guy has made to his overall game. Can't fault it. Backhand was on point. Done everything right, just what you need to do. But you don't have to do it again against Hugo Gaston. I always say, power only gets you so far against players like this. It only gets you so far. Usually a bit of versatility is what's going to get you over the line. Although Daniel Altmaier seems to be in decent form at the moment, we cannot deny that blazing hot form of Hugo Gaston. Back-to-back finals on the Challenger Tour. Lost one, won the next one. Comes over to Metz and absolutely dismantles Terence Sandman. Yeah, that's right. Quite a beatdown, 6-4 and then 6-1. Will he be able to do that against Daniel Altmaier? I would have to assume Daniel Altmaier is going to be a much tougher task than, let's say, a Terence Atman. I would have to assume that. I don't know, man. Close to call. It's very close to call. We could be in for an over. I couldn't talk it off a set, a piece either way. Ultimately, I feel like with this one being in France, that may or may not, but it very well could just be that little push over the edge that gives Gaston that extra bit of inspiration to see this one through. He's played shit all year. Now all of a sudden, he's found a bit of form, found a bit of momentum, and he's playing like I've never seen him before. Albeit, a lot of challenger wins. We'll see how much damage he can do over in Metz. I don't mind it at 1.8. I don't. You're not even getting even money for either one of these at the moment, folks. So 1.8 for the home favourite. I don't think you could do much wrong with that. It is a bit of a coin flip. You've just got to pay your money and you take your choice and you pick your poison. And it's entirely up to you. The choice will always be yours. I would be leaning with Hugo Gaston ever so slightly, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but I can't deny him. Can't deny him at the moment. But then again, it's kind of tough to deny the current form of Daniel Altmaier as well. If you can turn up and do that against Rinderknech in France. Then Hugo Gaston may be in a bit of trouble today, folks, but we shall certainly find out. We'll waste no more time. We've got Vitaly Sachko, Alexander Bublik. What are we even doing here? I mean, look, shout out to Sachko taking out Gio and Etcheverry. It's becoming very obvious now what's going to happen. It's becoming very obvious what's going to happen with these Gio games. I didn't want to believe it, but we kind of said it, and it happened. You just need to hold your serve, and Gio will do the rest. He can't break for shit. You're always getting a tiebreaker. And I mean, look at that. What was that second set as well? It was a very close first one, 7-6. A close tiebreaker as well, and then 6-3. I don't know. Fair play to Sachko. I mean, I didn't give him much of a shout prior to that. He'd won 3 of his last 10. All on the Challenger Tour, pretty much. But now he takes on Alexander Bublik. And this is going to be a lot different. Now, things are much, much different. I think the serve and the power still remains. But Alexander Bublik can actually play tennis. That's right. And we'll see. Is that going to be, will the result from Sachko in the first round just be a bit of a flash in the pan? Will it just be a Gio result? More often than not, pretty much anyone can do that. As long as he doesn't break you, you're good. But he's a massive dog in this again. Massive dog, 6.5 to 1, pretty much 5.5 to 1 roundabout. Do you think he covers that spread? Spread's 5.5, and it's around 1.6, so there's not a lot of meat on the bone on that Sachko spread today. I'm sitting here just believing that Alexander Bublik's going to turn up and beat him in straight sets. Don't know how close the sets are going to be. Say there's been nothing prior to this to suggest Sachko is going to just... There never really is there? There never is. There's never anything to suggest that any of these challenger players are going to come to the main draw and start going on deep runs. But even more so with this guy. Don't think he stands much of a chance against Bublik. I don't. Probably shouldn't have stood much of a chance against Gio, but Gio just can't play much tennis at the moment, can he? He possesses half a game. And even that half of his game ain't that great anymore. Well, it's been reduced to becoming not so great anyway. Alexander Bublik, blazing hot form. He's been one of the best for quite some time now. I'd be damned if I see him go out to this guy today. Nothing personal against Sachko. Maybe you could keep it close. Maybe you could just turn up and keep it close. I don't know. I just think you're going to get a hell of a lot more across the other side of the net from Alexander Bublik than what you will a Gio and Etcheverry. He's 1.1 on the decimal. Pretty much the same as learning Tien. Not going to give it much more thought. Bublik every day of the week. And then we've got Alexander Vukic, Matteo Berrettini. I kind of want to lean towards Berrettini. There's one or two ways I can take this Vukic first round match. I mean, it was a very long one. He had to go to war with Musetti. I can't believe he ended up winning. Cannot believe he ended up beating Musetti in France as well. I mean, he started grinding on him. He dropped that first set, and it took 2 grueling sets and 2 grueling tiebreakers to see that one through. I was sitting there thinking, he spent a lot of time in that game. That's going to be very, very fatiguing. That'll sap you, like it will with the best of them. You know, it's a tough game. Compared to Berrettini, had it quite easy against Quinton Hallis. We knew he would. 6'2", 6'4", no danger whatsoever. I'd like to say Berrettini's going to be the more rested of the two. But Alexander Vukic on the other hand, I mean, being able to grind out Corentin Moutet like that, that's very impressive. That's an achievement not many have been able to, to achieve, really, the past few weeks, certainly. So I don't know, I'm kind of impressed. Kind of impressed with Alexander Vukic now. I don't think he's gonna move you around as much as what Corentin Moutet would have done. Maybe this one will be a bit more serve heavy, be a bit more baseline heavy, a bit serve heavy. We could be in for and over. Say Vukic did look solid. He's coming into this one 3.5 on the decimal. I think that's a little bit disrespectful based on what we've just seen. I'd take that sort of win over Corentin Moutet in France, over an absolute arse whipping over Quinton Hallis any day this season. You would too. So I don't know, 1.3 for Berrettini seems a bit overpriced for me. I'm not too sure. Head to head is 2-0 to the Italian. Once last year, once the year before. 3 tiebreakers in the 2 games. 3 tiebreakers out of the 4 sets that they've played. The Italians won the pair of them in 2. 7-5 in a tiebreak, 2023. And then 2 tiebreaks last year, both on the Phoenix Challenger, both on the hard court. I think this one could be a little bit closer than what those odds are suggesting, folks. So I'd just approach it with a little bit of caution if you were touching that. And we've got 2 more. I completely forgot about these yesterday, but even still, I don't think there's a lot to be done with them. You know, Clement Tabur, Alexander Blockx. If anyone's got anything for them, please do let me know. I was a bit concerned about the fitness and the gas tank of Alexander Blockx after coming off that title over on the Challenger Tour. And he did drop a set to Francesco Passaro as well, but he come back, looked rather decent and comfortable winning that one. Now he takes on Clement Tabur. Home favourite, well, home dog. He's nearly a 2-1 dog, but he'll definitely have the crowd behind him. He looked decent in qualifying, turned up, and he took out Alexander Kovacevic in straight sets. Decent performance indeed. 6-3, 6-2. I don't know too much about it. Like I say, I haven't paid too much attention to the pair of them. I know Tabor's probably done most of the damage on the clay. He's been flying indoors. He's lost 1 game, 7-1. Alexander Blockx, I mean, what's this guy on now? Last time we checked, he was doing good. 19-8 indoors. Maybe he's a bit more suited. Maybe being in France will be the decider in this one. Like I said, I'm not too sure. Alexander Blockx, all them wins as of late, and then you're 2 games into your main draw. How much has he got left in the tank? I'm just not too sure. Now, for all I know, this guy could have bags of energy. He just may, but I'm unaware of that. So if anyone knows anything that I don't, please do inform me on that one. And then we'll wrap it up with, fuck me, look at this. That Dana dead, Kylian Jacquet. What are we doing? This is another one that I forgot about. Dana Dead's come in as a lucky loser, and he's been given a bye, I think. And he's a dog. Kylian Jacquet pulled off the upset against Luka Van Asch yesterday. 3 sets. Not a lot to go off. Jacquet did just win a title over on the Challenger Tour during the Asian swing. He went 2-2 since we've come over to France. Didn't qualify for Paris. And then he didn't even qualify for this. Come in as the lucky loser, took out Luka Van Asch. The only thing I could say for this one is they played each other a couple of weeks ago in the Saint-Tropez Challenger, and Dana Dead, the underdog in this one, for those that don't really know. 6-2, 6-4, absolutely beat the shit out of him. How much can change in the matter of a few weeks? Not too sure. 24-12 for a Dead, 5-3 for Jacquet on the indoor hard courts. Both of them flying on the outdoor courts as well, 32-12 to 20-8. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and overthink this one because I hadn't given it much thought, but now I'm looking at it, I'm kind of trying to pick it apart. That's it. I just can't help myself. But yeah, I ain't going to overthink it. He bullied them a couple of weeks ago. The dog did. So it is just slight food for thought. I ain't got too much to say on that, and I think that will most definitely do us for France. Over in Greece, we've got Kecmanovic, Luciano Darderi. Not going to overthink it. Kecmanovic or nothing. It's the only way. It is the only way. We're on the hard court, and as we all know, Luciano Darderi doesn't really fare well on the hard court. As a matter of fact, he's on a 4-game losing streak, hasn't won a set in either one. Musetti, Mochizuki, Binak, Kuzo. I think he's in for the 5th. I think he's in to be dealt a 5th by Kecmanovic today. These played each other in the Winston-Salem, that's right, a couple of months ago. And Kecmanovic beat the shit out of him. Of course he did. 6-3, 6-1. But when they played on the clay this season, guess who won that? Obviously, Luciano Darderi, although it was anything but easy. 6-2 in the first to Kecmanovic, then a tiebreak 6-4 from the Italian. But first time out, head-to-head is 2-1 to Kecmanovic. First time out was in Hong Kong at the start of the season. They've played each other 3 times this year. And Kecmanovic beat him on the hard court there, 6-3, 6-3. It's the way of the water, innit? That makes perfect sense to me. Now, Luciano Darderi, every now and then, like the majority of them, they will get the occasional win. But since we've come back to the hard court, he's got 2. One to Nishioka, 1 to Bu on the Asian swing. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass and say good job for that one. 2 of them bang out of form. You pretty much have to win them. But everything in between or since, no chance. Stands no chance. Kecmanovic ain't exactly been setting the world alight. Doesn't exactly fill me full of a lot of confidence in this. He's won 4 of his last 10. Far from trustworthy. But with it being the hard court, he put in a solid performance against Kamil Masharak. We did say we'd take him for the set. He ended up winning it in 2. If you're going to beat Kamil Masharak in 2, alright, I know he's not exactly a world beater, but at least he's suited to the hard court. He can be a problem on the hard court. Luciano Darderi, not so much. He is yet to prove anything to me to say that he's going to be a threat on these surfaces. Not really. They're not the quickest of surfaces, so maybe, excuse me, Jesus Christ, maybe he'll stand a bit of a better chance, my God, in this one. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I do. Kecmanovic today seems like the easiest pick for me. It does. I don't know what that's saying. Doesn't say a lot, but I feel like Kecmanovic is probably going to be the easiest one today. 1.5 hard court against Darderi. Why not? If you're having a go on a parlay, I think 1.5 to 1.6 for Kecmanovic today. That should be the way to go. It should be the way to go. It'd be one hell of an upset, in my opinion, if Darderi was to turn up and take out Kecmanovic on this hard court. Just an opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll move on to who's next. We've got Etcheverry and Alexander Muller. I'd be probably leaning with Etcheverry again. Give him the slightest of edges against Mackenzie McDonald. He did drop that first set, but he come back and won a tiebreak and then a 6-3. Look, long game, long match, that 3 sets. Alexander Muller did take 3 against Struff. Even that final set, it was a rough one. But even though they both played 3 sets, Etcheverry basically spent an extra hour on the court trying to take out Mackenzie McDonald. Will that play a part in this one today, perhaps? Maybe not. But you get them around 1.7. It's sub 1.7. I don't really know how I feel about that. On paper, I wouldn't have said there's much to split the pair of these when it comes to hardcore performances this year. The only thing that is kind of swaying me towards the Argentine in this one is the current momentum. He's been a hell of a lot better. He's looked a lot promising as of late, pretty much since we've come on the indoor hard courts. He's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 10. Alexander Muller has won 3 of his last 10. He's still won 3 of his last 10, only this time the Darwin Blanche game in Winston-Salem has disappeared from the final 10. You've got Kachanov, Binak in Paris, and then the first round over in Greece. You will have to pardon me, I don't know what's going on here. The one against Hanfmann and Struff, and I thought Struff may have just beat him in that one, I'll be honest with you. There was a point in that match where it looked like he kind of was. 6-3 in the first to the Frenchman, and then he dropped the second 6-2, and it looked like it was kind of getting away from him. And then it was a tiebreaker in the third. Anything but easy for the pair of these in the first round. Like I say, I'm not picking it with a lot of conviction. We could be in for an over in this. If this was in France, I may have leaned a bit more towards Alexander Muller. Maybe we wouldn't have got him as a dog. If this one was in France, I think these courts over in Greece, they don't seem to be playing that quick. That probably could suit Alexander Muller. But with that being said, if it's going to suit Muller, it's probably going to suit Etcheverry too. I think we could be in for a very decent game of tennis here. Very baseline heavy. We'll see a lot of tennis be played in this one. We could very well be in for an over. I think an over 22.5. It's probably going to be 23.5, but drop it down. You'll still get a decent price, I'd say. Over 22.5, either 1-4 a set. I'd still lean towards Etcheverry. I'd still give him the slightest of edges in this one based on the current form. My apologies, folks. I had to go and sort that down. I had to go and get a quick drink. I was sounding like General Grievous for a moment then. We've got Hanfmann and Vic Kopriva. I would be siding with Hanfmann. He looked decent in qualifying, didn't drop a set. And then he played the creator character, Ivan Ivanov. And then he beat him in straight sets too. Of course he did. Massive favourite in that. Biggest favourite on yesterday's card, I think. And now he's a massive favourite in this one today, 1.3. Why is that? Why is that? Why did Vic Kopriva just somehow look like a world beater against Ralia Pelka when the odds were similar? And he comes into this one as an even bigger dog after said performance. If you were to ask me, I'll put it plainly, folks. Ralia Pelka was fucking abysmal. Absolutely abysmal in that match yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before. It's one of them games that you wish you didn't watch. Never enjoy watching that sort of tennis from that sort of player anyway, but even when you've got a bet on it and all you need them to do is turn up and save, you can't even do that. You can't even do that. I mean, big first save. Oh my God, he's returned it. Anything after that is a 50-50 with Ralia Pelka. I just wanted to put that out there, although it was a decent performance. Well, say a decent performance. I wasn't that impressed with Vic Kopriva, if I'm being honest with you. Like I say, Ralia Pelka really did do the damage to himself in that. Just didn't want to be there. Didn't want to be there. And now Vic Kopriva's an even bigger dog in this one. Like I say, don't know how much I can take from that recent performance. The ones against Hanfmann, I kind of expected him to get past these. I really did. 1.3 is a massive favourite in that. Massive favourite coming into this one today. I imagine there is a fairly good reason for that. We'll see. We'll see what we will see. How deadly and how lethal Vic Kopriva really was, I suppose, in that first round match. I would imagine Hanfmann's going to beat him. He's a decent player. And he's dead flashy, he's streaky, and when he gets into form like this, we've seen it a few times. We've seen it earlier on in the season as well on the clay. He can be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare to deal with, and he's beaten players well better than Vic Kopriva, if you'd ask me. Give me Hanfmann, 1.3. Don't know how I feel about that, but like I say, either Ralia Pelka was that bad or Vic Kopriva was that good. I doubt it is the latter. Give me Hanfmann. But I wouldn't be betting that. Absolutely not. 1.3. Just on the off chance that Vic Kopriva does turn up and upset the apple cart again. If he does, then so be it. I'll hold my hands up and say, fuck me. I'll tip my cap to the guy, but I just can't see it. Hanfmann, decent save. And unlike Ralia Pelka, can actually play some fucking tennis. You know, you'll actually get a bit of lateral movement out of this guy. Bit of variety, mix it up. Ralia Pelka, I've never seen anyone try so many slices and scoops in my life, especially Ralia Pelka. Doesn't really do it, doesn't really implement it much in his game, decided to just try and scoop his way past Vic Kopriva the other day, and obviously it didn't work. I doubt Hanfmann is going to turn up with a fucking pitching wedge and try and chip his way past them today. No sir, absolutely not. Things shall be different indeed. We've got Wawrinka, Lorenzo Musetti. Shout out to Stan. Shout out to Stan. He got it done against Bartek van der Sandschulp. We kind of said it, didn't we? Van der Sandschulp coming in as a favourite just when he should be winning these games. You just know he won't. You know he won't. But fair play to Stan Wawrinka. We said it. I wanted him to win. I was all for it. And I got to watch him do so. Fair play, mate. Thank you very much. But now he's got to take on Lorenzo Musetti. Now he has to take on Lorenzo Musetti. And look, depending on what version of Lorenzo Musetti we get, I'd say Wawrinka probably could just win this one as well. At this point in the season, why not? Why not? Right, anything goes. if we get the latest version of Musetti, you know, the one that can win just the one set and look fantastic doing it, take full control until the moment he decides to lose it, and then fail to regain it against Lorenzo Sonego, he looked fucking horrendous. He looked great up until the point when he didn't. But what we was reduced to at the end of that game was very concerning. That just looked like one of them. I'm done. What am I doing here? And now he's playing Stan Wawrinka in Athens. A rather confident Stan Wawrinka as well. I have to admit, I have got a doubt or two around Lorenzo Musetti, and when I always say if there's any doubt, then there's no doubt at all. Sub 1.2. It's around 1.15 to 1.18. Crazy odds. Silly prices in it. Musetti is on a 2-game losing streak. I mean, the one to Sonego and then the one to Zverev in the Vienna semi-finals. He's had a much better season. He's been much more promising. He's just been better. He's just better at this point, you know what I mean? You don't need me to tell you that. You know, where we're at the point where Lorenzo Musetti and Stan Wawrinka, it's night and day. It's night and day. Stan Wawrinka always poses a bit of a threat. He'll always possess a bit of a threat as long as he's still here. As long as he's still playing tennis, he'll always still possess somewhat of a problem for these players, especially at a price like that, 1.17. They played each other 5 years ago on the clay. It was an absolute arse-whipping from the Italian, a bagel and a tie-break. Clay Musetti is a bit more potent, or a lot more potent than hard-court Musetti, I will say that. I don't know. I'm not going to pick up with a lot of conviction. Obviously, Stan Wawrinka on them points based on the recent performance, or pretty much how he went out in that last match, was rather unpleased with Lorenzo Musetti. I remember, I think we had a parlay on that one. That was the last one. Was it Davidovich Fokina? Musetti, something like that? Yeah, he shot that one away. I don't know. So it's the last tournament, innit? I say it's the last tournament. We probably won't have much many chances to take Musetti for the rest of the year, providing you want to. But at 1.18, would you even do that anyway? Absolutely not. I think that's a little bit disrespectful. I think if Stan Wawrinka can just stay inspired, stay fit, and have enough in the tank to see this one through, we should at least cover that spread. 5.5 games for Wawrinka today against Musetti. Anyone? The battle of the one-handed backhands on the indoor hard court. I think for old time's sake, I probably wouldn't mind having a little sprinkle on that. This up with Binach and Marcus Giron. Good old All-American shootout. But as always, I'll tell you this for free. There'll certainly be no American pie from me today. Absolutely not. Seen this 4 times before. No stranger to one another, obviously. All of them, you know, you're going back to 2022, San Diego, 2020 for the first 2. Most recently, wasn't that long ago at all. Chengdu. In the quarterfinals, Brandon Nakashima got that one done, 6-3, 2-6, and then it took a tie-break in the third and final set for Binach to see that one through. Now he comes into this one around 1.7, call it 1.7 on the decimal. Kind of a decent favourite for Brandon Nakashima. There's quite a bit of cash coming in on Marcus Giron at the moment, so I'm not going to lie to you. To say you look decent against Pedro Martinez, does that mean anything? No, absolutely not. You have to look good in that game, and you have to win it in the style in which he did as well. Kind of an arse whipping. So it has to be. It has to be 6-4, 6-1. You've got to do that to the current version of Martinez on the hard court. I would accept nothing less. Now I'd sit here and say Brandon Nakashima, especially this season, absolutely this season, he's been well better. He's been well better than Marcus Giron. 19-14 on the hard court, 13-14 for Giron. Indoors, 2-4 to 2-3. You know, it's not much to split them in that regard. Even last season, 11-4 from Giron, 12-8 from Binach. Kind of doing more or less the same as one another on the indoor hard courts. I just think for the most part, Brandon Nakashima, for the most part, I don't know if it still stands anymore at this point in the season, but he's been a lot more trustworthy. He possesses a very solid game. I think this will be very baseline heavy, I do. If I'm being honest with you, I kind of expected more of the same as what we got last time. Because even though I'd say there is a clear favourite in this one in Brandon Nakashima, odds would suggest otherwise. And look, I mean, given how much we say about Marcus Giron and the bad form and the slump he's been in, Benak's won the same amount of games, 4 out of the last 10 for the pair of them. I don't know, man. I don't know. So it's really good odds for Brandon Nakashima. Kind of a bit closer than what I thought. These are a bit closer than what they would have been any other time. Can we remember what the odds were when these played each other in the Chengdu quarterfinals? I shall check for you now. 1.44 for Nakashima. It's quite a drop. Quite a drop coming into this one. Over in Greece. 1.7, 1.75. Like I say, it was a close one last time. A third set tiebreaker. Shortening them odds does make sense. Very tempting to take Benak at 1.7, but that easily could have went the other way. And if it's going to come down to the wire and the finest of margins between these two, I couldn't talk it off taking Marcus Giron either in this one. I'm just out. I've got nothing for this. Absolutely nothing. I'm just going to sit and watch it and hope we're in for an entertaining game. I'd lean towards an over. I would lean towards an over. I would lean towards Brandon Nakashima getting this one done. He is I think he's the better of the two Americans, you know, for whatever that's worth. I do think he is the slightly better of the two on the day. So I'd say give me Benak, but I won't be taking him. But I'll be leaning towards Benak to see that one through. Very well, folks, that's going to do us. Another day in the bag. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you watching the show. Like and subscribe before you go. And I'd appreciate that too. But I'll be saying good night to you, or good morning, or whatever. You take it easy, you take care of yourself, you take care of one another. It's the most important thing. Wish you the best of luck, however you decide to go about your day. Have yourself a good one, folks, and I'll see you all tomorrow.